For nearly a century, one distinct automobile mark defined British luxury through a single, iconic, and predatory shape. That curvaceous, chrome cat didn't need to spell out the brand's name. It sat on the hood, communicating heritage and speed to every passerby and loyal buyer. But an aging buyer base forces hard conversations. Executives realized the old aesthetic was failing to attract the modern, ultra-luxury buyer. In Miami in late 2024, they unveiled a radical physical departure, a massive, pillarless electric coupe with no rear window and brutalist angles. Deciding an 80-year design legacy is obsolete is a high-stakes corporate gamble. It pits the safety of a fading past against the volatility of a complete pivot. The leaping cat was gone. In its place came a mixed-case wordmark spelling Jaguar, a circular monogram pairing a J and an R, and a stylized leaper graphic flattened into a barcode-like cage. They announced this with a launch film featuring brightly dressed models wandering through abstract sets, repeating slogans like "Copy Nothing." Conspicuously missing from this car commercial was a single actual car. This was a calculated upward strike. The company planned to slash their production volume from roughly 180,000 to just 10,000 units a year, while pushing the sticker price deep into six-figure, all-electric territory. You can easily imagine the boardroom where this was signed off. Launch films, manifesto words, and carefully curated color palettes are designed to generate applause. They serve to insulate the decision-makers from reality. This creates a massive blind spot. A radical design choice appears flawless when it is isolated from the physical world it must eventually inhabit. But a logo doesn't live on a presentation slide. It has to survive 100 unglamorous physical contexts that executives rarely consider. It has to work in a cramped digital configurator where users select their vehicle options, on a pixelated lease advertisement, and under the harsh fluorescent lights of the dealership floor at dusk. When loyal, heritage-driven buyers encountered a carless marketing campaign in these real-world spaces, they didn't see high-fashion minimalism. They saw an empty showroom. The actual customer base read this exuberant invitation as an eviction notice. This chart shows European car registrations for the brand in April 2025. Across the entire continent, they registered exactly 49 cars. In the same month a year earlier, that figure was 1,961 registrations. This represents a 97.5% collapse in volume. Part of this drop was mechanical. The company had deliberately paused the assembly lines for their legacy models, ensuring the showrooms would be empty by design while they waited for the new electric lineup. This makes the sequencing error critical. They erased their most recognizable asset at the exact moment they had zero product to sell. Without physical cars to ground the brand, the abstract new identity became the only thing for customers to judge, and they judged it as a total abandonment of the brand's soul. The executive response was telling. Management defended the reset, dismissed the fierce criticism as intolerance, and claimed that simply being relevant in cultural conversations was a victory. Optimizing for cultural noise might win applause, but it ignores the scoreboard of the dealer lot. When the cars disappeared, the logo was the only anchor left to hold a customer's loyalty, and the new mark wasn't designed for that weight. If we strip away the culture war rhetoric surrounding the launch, we are left with a clean case study in a single business error. The core mistake wasn't necessarily changing the logo, but pressure testing that new logo solely in the context of a launch film. If you only look at a brand on a screen, you miss how it functions when the showroom is empty or when the loyal legacy buyer feels alienated. A visual identity has to win microscopic, daily battles. It has to outstare a rival's badge in heavy traffic, and it has to read clearly when reduced to a 32-pixel app icon on a cluttered phone screen. A brand mark is defined by the hostile, real-world environments it can survive, rather than the curated stages built to applaud it. This is the argument for design intelligence. It acts as a parallel process to creative development. Instead of relying on mood boards, this approach preempts disaster by rendering photorealistic evidence right where it will actually live, in dark forecourts and tight digital spaces, long before the decision is locked in. It forces the bold call to prove itself against the quiet reality of the physical showroom, ensuring the brand identity can actually support the business through difficult transitions. The rendered context is the exact evidence you need. The final decision is simply what survives it.